Have you ever wondered why the kindest people often finish last? You see them every day. Calm, helpful, polite. They give more than they take. They never ask for credit. And yet, somehow, they're always the ones forgotten first. Let's be honest. Kindness alone has never been enough to survive in this world. If you still believe that being good will naturally lead to success, you're holding on to a comforting lie. One that society taught you. One that life keeps proving wrong. You work hard. You play fair. You help others. But when it's time to rise, someone louder, colder, or more cunning steps right over you. Not because they're better, but because they know something you don't. They understand this simple truth. The world doesn't reward the good. It rewards the strategic. And here's the hardest part to admit. You're not failing because you're kind. You're failing because you don't know how to defend yourself. You assume others play by the same rules. They don't. And that makes you vulnerable. This is the invisible victim mindset. You're not weak. You're just unprotected. Today, we dismantle the illusion that virtue alone is enough. Because if you want to keep your goodness, you must learn to guard it. So if the world doesn't reward goodness, it's time to ask what it does reward. That's where Machiavelli comes in. Part 1. Machiavelli's Law. Goodness must be armed. Let's get something straight. Machiavelli never said kindness is useless. He said kindness without defense is a trap. In The Prince, he wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Why? Because the world doesn't reward pure intentions. It rewards those who protect their goodness with clarity and strategy. Wrong belief. The world rewards the good. Reality. The world rewards those who arm their goodness with cunning. Look at real life. At work, maybe you've seen someone who always says yes. They stay late. Help everyone. Never complain. And what happens? They get overlooked. Because being good isn't enough if people don't respect you. Now compare that to someone who's strategic. They help when it matters, but set boundaries. They know when to speak and when to be silent. They are kind, but not soft. That's the difference between naive virtue and what I call intelligent kindness. Intelligent kindness is not weakness. It's empathy paired with awareness. It's being good, but never easy to use. Machiavelli didn't teach people to be evil. He taught them to survive, to understand human nature, and build strength inside it. You can see this in history. Julius Caesar wasn't remembered because he was noble. He was feared, respected, and decisive. In our time, look at Steve Jobs. He changed the world, not just with innovation, but with clarity and control. He inspired when he chose, but he also cut when he had to. Or Elon Musk, bold, disruptive, impossible to ignore. He doesn't ask to be liked. He plays to win. Here's the truth. If you want your kindness to be respected, you must protect it. If you want your voice to matter, you must learn when not to speak. Because if you give without limit, you become disposable. That's why virtue without cunning becomes invisible. It gets buried under louder voices, stronger wills, and smarter players. The world doesn't reward those who play fair. It rewards those who know how to balance ethics with strategy. So what should you do? You don't stop being good. You stay kind, on your own terms. Good with boundaries, good with vision. The world doesn't need more naive people. It needs sharp-minded souls who know how to walk through shadows without being swallowed by them. In the next part, we'll look at why predators always find the kind-hearted first, and how you can stop being the one they target. And here's the truth no one tells you. The people who prey on kindness spot it first. That's where we're going next. Part 2. Naivety as a target. Why people use you. Let's be brutally honest. If you're too nice, you become a target. Not because kindness is bad, but because most people don't know how to protect it. You've felt it, haven't you? At work. You do the extra work, cover for others, say yes to everything. And what do you get? Not promotion, not gratitude. You get expectations. People stop saying thank you. They start thinking it's your job. In relationships, you're always there. You forgive too quickly. You try to understand instead of confront. And what happens? They interpret your patience as permission. They keep crossing lines because you never draw them. Even in family, you're the one who's always fine, the one who never says no, the one who bends even when it breaks you. Because somewhere inside, you've learned this script. If I'm good enough, they'll treat me right. But they don't. And instead of getting angry, you blame yourself. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe it's my fault for being too sensitive. It's not your fault for being sensitive. It's your fault for thinking people will treat you fairly just because you treat them fairly. That's not how the world works. Like Machiavelli warned, the world is full of predators disguised as friends. These people are charming. They listen, smile, compliment you. But they're scanning for weakness. They know how to spot someone who won't fight back, who will explain instead of defend, who would rather be uncomfortable than make someone else feel bad. And you? Without realizing it, you've been the perfect target. Because you confuse kindness with compliance. You think saying no makes you cruel, that standing your ground makes you selfish. But here's the truth. Saying no doesn't make you bad. It makes you strong. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They separate the ones who love you from the ones who use you. But most kind people don't set boundaries because they were never taught how. They think being liked is safety. But being liked is a trap if it costs you your dignity. The world rewards those who teach it how to treat them. If you tolerate disrespect, you invite more of it. If you explain instead of enforce, you lose leverage. Here's the uncomfortable reality. People who always give without limits eventually get left with nothing. You think you're being noble. But predators don't see nobility. They see opportunity. So ask yourself, where am I being too available? Where have I mistaken guilt for responsibility? Where have I allowed fear of rejection to erase my voice? Because if you don't draw the line, they will keep stepping over it. And no one will come save you. You have to save yourself by shifting how the world sees you. Once you stop being used, another challenge appears. Not being ignored. Because being kind isn't just risky. It's invisible without presence. We'll break down how to stop being a target without losing your kindness. Because being good is powerful, but only when you stop letting people treat it like a weakness. Part 3. Perception is power. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been overlooked despite doing everything right? Despite being competent, responsible, and kind? It's not because you weren't good enough. It's because people didn't see your value. This is one of Machiavelli's most brutal truths. It is not enough to be good. You must appear good. And more than that, you must appear powerful. In today's world, perception is power. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the one others believe is the smartest. Think about the workplace. How often do we see someone loud, confident, even shallow, rise faster than the quiet, thoughtful one. It happens everywhere. The person who projects certainty is seen as competent. The one who owns the space is seen as a leader, even if, behind the scenes, their results are average at best. This isn't a glitch, it's the design. And on social media, it's even clearer. Many people who dominate your feed aren't more talented or insightful. They're simply better at packaging themselves. They've mastered what I call projected authority. This doesn't mean you should fake who you are. It means you need to shape how you're perceived. Because if you don't, others will assign you a role, and it likely won't be the one you deserve. Here's the truth. You don't need to be the best. You need to be the one others believe is the best. That doesn't come from talking more. It comes from talking with precision, from being seen when it matters and absent when it doesn't. Silence, mystery, poise. These are tools of power. When you're too available, too eager to explain, too quick to please, people stop listening. But when you speak with calm intention, when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, you become magnetic. People lean in. Why? Because uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity creates respect. So now the question is, what are you projecting? Because the world doesn't just respond to truth, it responds to signal. But signal isn't just what people see, it's what you reveal and what you choose to withhold. Because in the age of noise, information is leverage. Part 4. Information as a weapon. You've heard it all your life. Speak your truth. But here's the hard truth Machiavelli understood. Always speak your truth. Speak your truth only to those who've earned the right to hear it. In a world where information is power, not everything should be said, and certainly not to everyone. Let's be clear. This isn't about deception. It's about discipline. Machiavelli warned that a ruler should never reveal his true intentions too soon. Why? Because the more people know what you think, what you feel, what you plan, the more power they have over you. We often overshare because we want to connect, to feel seen, to be liked. But here's the paradox. The more you share, especially with people who haven't earned your trust, the less you're respected. Oversharing makes you transparent and easy to play. And predictable people are easy to manipulate. Have you ever opened up to someone only to feel them use that vulnerability against you later? Or explained yourself endlessly, hoping they'd understand, only to be met with silence, judgment, or worse, dismissal? That's the trap of sharing to be liked. Kindness is not revealing everything. Strategic kindness is knowing when to stay silent. This is where the art of selective transparency comes in. It means sharing with intention, the right message, at the right time, to the right person. It's knowing that you don't owe the world your emotional playbook, and you certainly don't owe it to people who haven't shown they can hold it with care. Remember, just because someone is listening doesn't mean they're safe. Powerful people don't talk all the time. They withhold. They speak when necessary, when it serves the moment. Not their need for approval. It's not cold. It's wise. Because when your words are rare, they carry weight. When your presence is deliberate, people lean in. And when people can't fully read you, they hesitate before crossing you. So before you explain, confess, or reveal, pause. Ask yourself, does this serve me or just soothe me? Have they earned this part of me? Because once your information is out, you don't control how it's used. And in the wrong hands, even the truth can become a weapon. Silence, used wisely, is not distance. It's power. Part 5. Emotional control is the highest form of power. You think power looks like dominance. Loud voices, firm fists, bold commands. But Machiavelli knew the opposite. The one who cannot be provoked is the one truly in control. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who feels everything, but shows nothing. Emotional control isn't about being cold or numb. It's about never letting your enemy, or your audience, see your center break. Because when someone provokes you and you react impulsively, who's really in control? Not you. It's the one who made you flinch, the one who pulled your strings while you thought you were making a point. We've all been there. You're insulted. You fire back. You say what you regret. You walk away angry, then spiral in shame. Why did I let them get to me? Why did I give them that power? And they? They smile. They got what they wanted. Machiavelli would tell you, never let others control your behavior through emotion. They'll learn how to manipulate you the moment they know what gets under your skin. Now, here's something people rarely say. Calm isn't just peace, it's presence. And presence in a storm is authority. It signals that you're untouchable, that you know yourself, that you're not moved by provocation, but by calculation. Emotional volatility signals weakness, because it means you can be baited. But silence under pressure, stillness under attack, that's not passivity, that's dominance. Think of the most influential leaders, speakers, thinkers you admire. Did they scream, panic, or rush? Number, they paused. They chose their moment. They let the room shift around them while they stayed centered. Your emotions are real, but not everyone deserves access to them. You don't owe the world your rage. You don't owe every insult a reaction. You owe yourself sovereignty. A prince must act with cold calculation, Machiavelli wrote. Not because he's cruel, but because emotion is the one thing a strategist must never hand over. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, asks a question they know will rile you, makes a comment designed to provoke, breathe. Wait. Let their energy spill into the silence, because the person who remains unshaken makes everyone else wonder what they've missed. And that, right there, is power. Part 6. Strategic distance. How to make yourself valuable. Availability may feel like generosity, but it often reads as desperation. Machiavelli warned us, familiarity breeds contempt. The more accessible you are, the less people respect your presence. In a world obsessed with constant connection, notifications, texts, online status, we've been tricked into thinking presence equals power. But presence without scarcity is noise, and noise is easy to ignore. Think about it. How many times have you given too much? Your time, your energy, your attention, only to be overlooked, dismissed, or even exploited? In relationships, in work, in friendship. The one who's always there is rarely seen. Because when you make yourself too accessible, you don't feel appreciated. You feel used. This isn't about becoming distant to punish others. It's about becoming strategic to preserve your value. Look at social media. The creators who post constantly fade into background noise, but those who speak rarely with impact. When they drop a message, people stop and listen. In Japanese culture, the concept of jian, the space between things, is deeply respected. In traditional no theater, a character might pause in silence before speaking. Not to delay, but to increase weight, to dignify the moment. Even in interpersonal conduct, Respect is communicated through distance. The bow, the silence, the waiting. They all say, "This moment matters. This presence has meaning." Can you say the same about how you show up in life? In the office, the colleague who always says yes is expected to, but the one who says yes rarely, but with intention. That person's time is requested, not demanded. The irony? The more you give yourself away, the more disposable you become. Strategic distance doesn't mean disappearing. It means knowing when to retreat so your return has impact. Don't be afraid to step back, to delay that response, to let someone miss your presence before you offer it again. That silence you fear, that absence you worry will make people forget you. It's actually your most powerful weapon, because mystery creates magnetism. Space breeds value. And when you control when and how you show up, you also control how people perceive you. People don't chase what they can easily reach. They chase what's just out of reach, what feels earned. And here's the final truth. If your only way of being remembered is by being constantly present, then you were never respected, only consumed. So next time you feel the urge to over-explain, over-give, overstay, stop, withdraw, watch. And when you return, return with presence. Return with precision. Let them feel the silence before your voice. Let them miss your absence before they hear your offer. Because the less they see of you, the more they'll value what they do. Part 7. Rewrite the script, from kindness to command. You've done the good thing your whole life. You've stayed polite, accommodating, patient. You've swallowed your frustration, smiled through the disrespect, told yourself, "It's okay. They'll see my heart eventually." But they didn't. And they won't. Because the world doesn't reward quiet suffering. It rewards those who know how to turn kindness into command. Let's be brutally honest. You're not failing because you're kind. You're failing because you've mistaken kindness for weakness. You've followed a script that was never written for your success. You thought being nice would protect you. But in this world, the unguarded become prey. And you've been eaten alive by bosses who exploited you, partners who took you for granted, friends who disappeared the moment you said no. Here's the truth. Kindness isn't the enemy. Passivity is. The problem isn't your heart. It's your lack of boundaries. It's that you gave and forgot to define yourself in the process. Now it's time to rewrite that script. You can still be kind, but you must become untouchable. Still be generous, but with filters and limits. Still care, but from a position of clarity and control. You are no longer the one who always understands. You are the one who commands understanding. You are no longer a safe harbor for other people's storms. You are the calm center, disciplined, poised, unpredictable. So from this moment forward, you stop being easy to read. You stop being easy to access. You stop being easy to use. Stop being food. Start being fire. Let people feel your warmth, yes, but also know you can burn. Because real kindness, the kind that commands respect, isn't soft. It's sharp, it's measured, it's aware, and now it's your turn. No more apologizing for having boundaries. No more explaining your worth to people too blind to see it. No more handing power to people who never earned it. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected, to move with purpose, to lead yourself, and let the world recalibrate around your presence. So ask yourself, Who do you want to become now? Not just kind. Kind, but not passive. Calm, but not timid. Quiet, but never invisible. Reclaim your narrative. Redefine your identity. Because this world doesn't remember those who were good. It remembers those who were good and powerful. So now you've reached the end. But maybe this is the first time you've truly met yourself. Power is in the silence. You've made it to the end, and that already tells me something about you. You're not here for surface-level advice. You're here because something inside you has been whispering for a while. There has to be a smarter way to be kind in this world. You've felt it. The fatigue of always being available. The pain of being good and being ignored. The frustration of watching others play the game while you wait for fairness to show up. So let this be the moment that everything shifts. Let this be the day you stop performing kindness for approval and start practicing strength in silence, because true power doesn't scream, it doesn't explain, it doesn't beg to be seen. True power is quiet, measured, and unmistakable. So if something in this video resonated with you, drop a comment below. Let others know. Power is in the silence. And if you're ready to explore more, how to build influence without noise, respect without fear, kindness without becoming a target, then hit that subscribe button. This is where your new script begins. One written in silence but spoken through presence. A script where goodness is no longer weakness, where kindness stands tall, where silence commands. Because this isn't about changing who you are. It's about unleashing the version of you the world can no longer ignore. See you in the next video, and remember, never underestimate the strength of a kind person who knows their power.